Welcome to On This Day, where we look back at the moments that made history, one day at a time. From major world events to the weird and unexpected, every date has a story. So, what happened on 8th of August? Let's find out. August 8th is one of those dates that really shows how history is full of big changes, strange twists, and moments that shaped the world we know today. From political upheavals to inventions, from the arts to the battlefield, there's a lot to unpack about today. Let's dive in and see what makes August 8th stand out. In 1974, President Richard Nixon announced his resignation from the presidency of the United States, effective the next day. Facing almost certain impeachment over the Watergate scandal, he became the first and only U.S. president to resign. It was a moment that shook American politics and trust in government. Going back to 1588, the Spanish Armada was defeated by the English Navy. Storms helped, but clever tactics and relentless pursuit by the English fleet broke Spain's mighty force. It marked the rise of England as a major naval power and changed the balance of power in Europe. On this day in 1945, the Soviet Union declared war on Japan during World War II and invaded Manchuria. It was a dramatic move that helped force Japan's surrender just days later. It also laid the groundwork for Cold War tensions in Asia that would shape geopolitics for decades. In 1963, the Great Train Robbery happened in England. A gang stopped a Royal Mail train in the countryside and made off with over $2.6 million, a fortune at the time. The heist became legendary for its daring and planning, inspiring books and films. August 8, 1969, is also when the Beatles famously walked across Abbey Road for the album cover photo. Just four guys crossing the street, but the image became one of the most famous and imitated in music history. Even today, fans pose there to recreate it. In 1942, during World War II, 6 German saboteurs were executed in Washington, D.C. after being captured in Operation Pistorius. They'd landed by submarine with plans to attack American infrastructure, but the FBI foiled the plot quickly. It was a dramatic moment in wartime espionage. On this day in 1908, Wilbur Wright made his first flight in Europe in Le Mans, France. It wasn't just a short hop. It impressed the world and proved the Wright brothers' plane was no fluke. Aviation fever swept across the continent after that. In 2008, the Summer Olympics opened in Beijing with a jaw-dropping ceremony watched by billions. The show combined history, art, and technology to showcase China's rise on the world stage in a way few would forget. Love discovering what happened on this day in history? Hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Back in 1929, the German airship Graf Zeppelin began its historic round-the-world flight. It was the ultimate luxury adventure of the era, showing just how far aviation had come, and thrilling crowds everywhere it stopped. On August 8, 1978, the U.S. launched Pioneer Venus 2 to study the planet's thick, toxic atmosphere. It was part of our early quest to understand our neighbors in the solar system, even if Venus proved to be a bit too hot for comfort. In 1863, during the American Civil War, Robert E. Lee offered his resignation to Confederate President Jefferson Davis after the defeat at Gettysburg. Davis refused, and Lee would go on to lead Confederate forces for 2 more years in a losing cause. On this day in 1946, the first flight of the Convair B-36 Peacemaker took place. It was the largest mass-produced piston-engined aircraft ever made, and a symbol of Cold War nuclear deterrence with its intercontinental range. August 8, 1988 was known as 8/8/88 in Myanmar, then Burma, when pro-democracy protests erupted in huge numbers. Sadly, the military cracked down brutally, killing thousands, but the date remains a symbol of the fight for freedom there. And in 2000, Confederate submarine H.L. Hunley was raised from the ocean floor off Charleston, South Carolina. It was the first submarine to sink an enemy ship in combat during the Civil War, but it also sank itself in the process. Recovering it was like opening a time capsule from a different era. That's what happened on 8th of August throughout history. Made it this far? Drop your favorite historical fact in the comments. Learned something new? Hit subscribe and come back tomorrow. You never know what the past has in store.